Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why do you have to live? Okay, hello everyone. Nice to have all of you here. 안녕하세요. Okay, we continue learning about how Master YongHua trained his in his Chan classes. One important point I thought I bring up again from last night's lecture was that on slide 75, it says this bad karma is caused by kind of stupidity to recover the good karma that we originally have. And it's very important that I need to stress to you again that this is a Chinese style of teaching their people, and it worked for them for in the history of Chinese Chan. It's very effective. But we don't do that for a simple reason that it has some problems I feel are not helpful for people like you who practice Chan, our style. Okay, meaning let me try to put it in concrete terms for you. If you don't do it like the Chinese do it here, the way that the Chinese emphasize is that you need to separate bad karmas and good karmas, okay? And you get rid of the bad karma in order to recover the good karma. That in itself, you don't do that you save yourself about 10 years. It's a very subtle thing. Because the Chinese do this, it would take them about 10 years or more to be able, on the average, to be able to deal with the problem associated with this. Similarly, I do not like keeping silent during these cultivation periods for a similar reason. It's not necessary. It's not that effective. Why? Because keeping silent from when the Chinese do it, I notice, because I went to many Chinese temples, including my master's temples, it's like a status kind of thing. They say, I'm a serious cultivator, so I don't talk during this thing here, during this Chanqi or Foqi. And so it has a little bit of a built-in arrogance. I'm special, okay? In particular, even if you don't talk, it really doesn't help that much, okay? Because it's so hot. There you go. It's so hot today. You see. So what happens if you don't say it's so hot today right now, like Joseph just said? What does he do then? He said, "It's so hot. It's so hot. It's so hot." You see that? When he says it's so hot like that, I say, "Hey, cut it out. Remember, it's not about your mouth. It's about up here." Okay? So these people, they stop talking, but their mind is always complaining. It's so hot. It's not enough food today. How am I going to tell people now? Tomorrow, tomorrow I want soup, but I can't talk. So the mind is constantly complaining. I know that. That's why I'd rather you complain to me and I slap you, rather than having you complain like that silently, no one knows, for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, and walk around and say, "I'm so cool, I'm so special." You understand? It has its advantages, but the disadvantages are a lot worse than just talking and release your frustrations and your multitude of problems. All right? You see that? So that's why we don't do those things, because it's too slow. It doesn't work for us in the U.S. I don't feel it doesn't work for me. Okay, it didn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. I'm totally unimpressed. Maybe it worked in China. I ain't never been to China. But anyway, so you see. The reason that you're progressing faster than the Chinese is because our methodology, it's still the way Yang Lin is, but our methodology is to me, is more suitable to our culture, to your makeup, okay, and avoids these pitfalls that the way the Chinese fundamentals, to me, it has too many pitfalls. I don't like it. Okay? The results speak for themselves. So every little things like this, it works for them, worked for them for a long time, for many generations. But to me, it's still too slow. And that's why I prefer not to execute like that. All right? All right. Where were we? 77? Okay, let's continue then. There's a lot, when by avoiding these pitfalls, I'm saving you a lot of time. You don't even know it. But in contrast, there's certain things we need to do to compensate for not giving you the instructions to the way the Chinese do, of course. The reason the Chinese masters and patriarchs did that is for a reason. But it doesn't have to take that long. It doesn't have to take you, it's a good, it provides a good foundation of the Chinese Chan students, Chan cultivators, but at the same time, it causes some problems down the road that much harder to undo than not give it a chance to take roots right now. Okay? All right, continue, please.
So 坐禅要有忍力不怕苦21个钟头
So, to sit Chan, you need to have endurance power and not be afraid of suffering for 21 hours.
你看人家古来那个魁济祖师前身，你看他多苦。
You see that patriarch Kuiji from the ancient time, prior life, you see how painful it was for him.
坐那个地方啊，一坐了几千年，不知道坐了十几千年。
Sit at that place for several thousands of years and didn't know how many thousands of years he had been sitting.
You see that even the Chinese, back then, Master Kuiji, National Master Kuiji, could sit in a prior life for a long time, thousands of years, without dying. So we do have a lot of variations in our Chan techniques where we don't eat, we don't drink for thousands of years, and you're still alive. Okay, we don't make a fuss over it. We don't have to stand and do into a posture of an elephant or a buffalo in order to make our body stronger and independent of food intake and drink intake. Okay, so this is to remind ourselves that our Chan is so broad. Our technique is so broad that it's never meant to impress people. You're serious, we teach you. You're not serious, we'll learn from the Tai Chi and the and the Qigong, whatever. Good.
因为他开始做的时候，他也不记得。等到唐玄奘到印度去取经，在路上啊遇到他。
Because he also didn't remember when he started sitting till Tang Xuanzang went to India to get the sutra and met him on the way.
遇着他，看见这个老修行这个头上啊，那个巧鸟在那儿续窝了。
Met him, saw this old cultivator. His head has spirals making a nest there.
续窝在那儿住还不说， 还在那生小巧，啊，生小巧，小巧又生小巧。
Not only was the sparrows making a nest to live there, it also made baby sparrows. Baby sparrows also made baby sparrows.
不知道几辈子，这个巧的这个世界，不知道几个世界。
I don't know how many lifetimes this spiral centuries doesn't know how many centuries.
啊，巧的世纪不知道是多少了，那么人的这个世纪也不容易计算。
Sparrow centuries don't know how many, then this human centuries is not easy to calculate either.
可是唐玄奘到这一看，啊，这个老修行在这入定了，不是死。虽然是没有气，但是可不是死。
But Tang Xuanzang took a look here. This old cultivator here entered samadhi, not dead, also not breathing, but is not dead.
Those of you who don't know what Tang Xuanzang is, Tang Xuanzang is a very, very famous monk of the Tang dynasty in China. At the time, there weren't a lot of Mahayana scriptures in Chinese. So what he did is he resolved to go to India to pick up and bring back some Indian sutras in Sanskrit. Okay. And so that's what he did. He is a lot of hardship for him. He practiced for months by piling up chairs to simulate hills and mountains. So he would train himself on there, and climbing these piled up chairs, and to build his physical strength and stamina. And then by the time he went, of course, he encountered a lot of demonic obstructions. It's very famous, this journey is very famous in Chinese Buddhism, because it's later romanticized by Journey to the West novel, where the monkey king escorted a monk to go to India, to the West. That India is to the west of China, to his pilgrimage. So that's a very, very famous story. So Xuanzang, Venerable Xuanzang, Great Master Xuanzang, is a very, very famous monk. So for him, that trip there, he went to India with a lot of hardship, nearly lost his life, attacked by demons and all kinds of things. Okay? And he stayed in India for around 14 to 16 years, okay? Learning, researching, learning Sanskrit, researching the Buddhist scriptures, and then he debated the Indian masters. After he read the Indian monks, then so he debated them and won them in the debates, and finally brought back via mules and a bunch of sutras, around hundreds of scrolls of sutras and texts, Buddhist texts, to China. And then back then, unlike nowadays, the Chinese emperor recognized the value of Buddhism. They recognize it as a national treasure. So that's why the Chinese emperor commissioned him to head the translation committee to translate the Buddhist sutras from Sanskrit into Chinese. So this is another huge undertaking that Xuanzang also did. And so he was in charge of like thousands, I'm told 1,000, 3,000 monks whose job is just to translate sutras. And then the monastery is so huge, so big, because it's all under the sponsorship of the Chinese emperor. So they gave him a lot of resources. The temple is so huge, it can handle 1,000 or 3,000 monks. Okay? And it was so large that in order to close the front gate, you need to hop on a horse and go full gallop and go out there and close the gate. After visiting hours, and you have to come back. Okay, that's how they save time. So it's kind of cool. See, back then, it's a different kind of world where people, the emperors or presidents, had a lot more blessings back then. So that's why they created great karmas in order to benefit the country and their people, not themselves. Okay, that's a big difference. So that's why Venerable Xuanzang is a great monk in the Chinese Buddhism history. He's highly revered for his enormous contribution to Chinese Buddhism. And because you can tell that his work is so important because he had so much help. Because regardless, he's only studied Sanskrit for a number of years. Therefore, his Sanskrit is not, his knowledge of the language wasn't that great. So he had all the Indian monks who followed him from India to China. And they helped him do the translation. Those Indian monks knew Sanskrit and were fairly versed in Chinese. So you have an exchange and integration of skills, of language skills. Okay, that's why the translation was very accurate in the Chinese, and not only because of the language skills, like my master had right now from the RBA when they translated from Chinese into English, which is tremendous, a humongous undertaking. Let me assure you that, for example, that in the Shrangma Sutra, that chapter on the 50 skandha demons, okay? When I was a left-home person, when I became a novice, that book right there, 50 skandha demons, the final chapter of the that they prepared, that the RBA had to prepare to print for the Shrangma Sutra, was ready to go to printing. And it took them, and somebody changed their mind. They have a committee, translation committee. So somebody changed his or her mind, so it wasn't printed until like 9 years later. One book, one chapter, and the demons managed to delay it another 9 years. Think about it. During those 9 years, many of monks and nuns died already. Okay? So you can imagine the kind of obstructions and difficulties that the demons mounted just to obstruct these translations. Just one chapter is 9 years. Okay? It's funny. Yeah. And so you can imagine if they, 1,000 or 3,000 of them, will gather together to translate sutras from Sanskrit into Chinese. You can imagine the kind of structures they had. Okay, and that's why, because the work is so important. Okay, Mahayana was being transferred from India. It was being prepared to be transferred from India to China. So that's why they have, the translation has to happen. And so many bodhisattvas appeared in the flesh to assist in the translation. Okay, So I'm, in the future we'll be explaining the Avatamsaka Sutra, Flower Adornment Sutra. That has a specialized second stage arhat, who supposedly second stage arhat, who would answer the main translator of that sutra. I explained to him the meaning of those things, of those Sanskrit characters. So it's incredible, the kind of undertaking that Xuanzang was in charge of. You cannot imagine the scope of that. And amazingly, my master managed to do it on his own through his DRBA and so you can see that the translation work still needs to be refined further. Okay. I wish I were interested in doing that. It's a lot less trouble for me than dealing with small dragons and big dragons and evil dragons and good dragons. Okay, but my interest is not translation. But we still need a lot of work to do. So hopefully in the future, many of you who reaches a high level of attainment, some of you might, because there's so many of you, some of you might decide to devote more of your time, commit to the improving the accuracy of translation. Okay? Yes, question.
Just curious why he kept sitting there instead of going to the Pure Land.
Because waiting for Xuanzang. Maybe he came too soon, so he decided that instead of wasting a trip, he might as well sit there and wait for Xuanzang. So when Xuanzang discovered him in his cave, you hear the rest of the story. And basically, I don't know why he did that, but one possible explanation is that he waited. You know how difficult it is for someone to get a human body and then grow up and then be fat and be nursed and grow up and educated and trained and to be able to look at yourselves. You see how difficult it is for you to improve your samadhi. This guy's samadhi is so high that he's able to sit for thousands of years without any problems. Imagine that kind of samadhi power. Okay? So this is the ordinary cultivator. And so that's why Xuanzang had so much help. Excellent help.
啊，这个身上的尘土啊，大约都有半寸那么厚，啊，衣服根本就是看不见了，这衣服都烂了。
There is dirt on the body. It's about half an inch thick. Can't even see clothes. The clothes were all rotten.
就是尘土陪着把这个身体上的尘土有半寸厚，唐玄奘也就没有事来找事情干。
Was dirt covered this body? This dirt was half an inch thick. Then Tang Xuanzang had nothing to do but find something to do.
我叫他出境，从这个老修行来谈一谈，于是乎用这个引擎就打了一下引擎，
I will call him out of his samadhi to talk to this old cultivator. Thus he used this small bell, hit the small bell once.
You see, that's our tradition. When you want to bring someone out of samadhi, you hit the small bell. You don't shake that person or tickle that person.
老兄，在这儿几千万年都没有见着过人来到这儿，给他开镜。
This old cultivator stayed here tens of millions of years, didn't see anyone come here to open silent for him.
开镜出镜。 出镜，但是身不能动弹了。
Kaijing here means to open stillness. Okay, it's not silent. He sat for thousands of years. He's able to sit 1,000 of years without eating, without drinking, without going to the toilet, without sleeping. Is because of his stillness, not because of his silence. Okay. And Kaijing is to open that stillness, meaning that to exit the stillness, which is more sensible explanation. Yes, question.
Was he a Buddha if he can sit for thousands of years?
No, he wasn't.
身虽然不能动弹，可是能说话。说你是从哪里来的？就好像那个游孝子问我似的。
Although body couldn't move, he can talk. He said, "Where did you come from?" This is like that filial son you asked me.
这个唐玄奘可就是和他老老实实讲了，说我是从唐朝来的，我想到印度去取经。
But this Tang Xuanzang told him honestly, said, "I came from the Tang dynasty. I want to go to India to get the sutra."
你在这儿，这么装死，有什么意思呢？
You're here pretending to be dead. What's the point?
他说我在这儿，我因为想等释迦牟尼佛出世，我好帮他弘扬佛法。
Said, "Oh, I'm here is because I want to wait for Shakyamuni Buddha to be born. Then I can help him propagate the Buddha Dharma."
You see, that's the answer for you. If he were the Buddha, he wouldn't make this kind of mistake. He would wake up. He would know exactly when to wake up during Shakyamuni Buddha's time to go to work. So he overshot the samadhi a little bit, if you will. It also tells you that the accuracy of its samadhi is not that high. Yeah. Supposedly, you should be able to have pinpoint accuracy. Okay.
唐玄奘说：“你等释迦牟尼佛出世。”
Tang Xuanzang said, "You're waiting for Shakyamuni Buddha to be born?"
释迦牟尼佛已经入涅盘都1000多年喽。
Shakyamuni Buddha had entered Nirvana for over 1,000 years.
Small miscalculation. Maybe he was thinking in terms of sparrow centuries instead of human centuries.
This old cultivator, really?
唐玄奘说什么真的假的？你在这地方睡觉睡得这么久了，你真是的睡得糊涂了。
Tang Xuanzang said,
Look who's talking about real or fake. You've been sleeping here.
what real fake? You are here sleeping.
Now, look at who's talking about real or fake here. You're the one who's been sleeping. You slept this long.
Look who's talking about real and fake. You're here sleeping, slept this long. You're really, slept till confused.
这个老修行一听，那不要紧，释迦牟尼佛入涅盘，我在。
Once the old cultivator heard, that's okay. Shakyamuni Buddha entered Nirvana.
当来下生弥勒真佛，说完了就要入定了。
That's another 16 million years only.
又要等是。I will wait for the honored future Maitreya Buddha. He finished speaking, wanting to enter samadhi again.
唐玄奘说：“你先不要又去入定去，我现在有事情和你商量。”
Dharma Master Xuanzang said, "Do not enter samadhi yet. I now have something to discuss with you."
你有什么事情，我不管你的事情。这个老修行不愿意管闲事。
What business do you have? I don't care about your business. This old cultivator is unwilling to manage leisure business.
It's not leisure business. What? It's not leisure business. It's to deal with others people's business. 闲事 here is I don't have time to deal with others people's business. The Chinese have so many implications when they speak. In English, we are a lot more accurate, a lot more articulate. We need to spell it out. Otherwise, people would misunderstand. But in spelling it out, then you also are reducing the multiple meanings that the Chinese have in mind.
你到这儿来打我闲唱，我这入定入得很自在的，很好的。
You came here leisurely interrupted me. I am here entering samadhi, entering to the point that's very at ease, very good.
多事干，我不管你的事。
you do too much business. I don't care about your business.
唐玄奘说：“这不是我的事啊。”
Tang Xuanzang said, "This is not my business."
他那么谁的事？
Then whose business is this?
唐玄奘说：“这是佛的事。”
Tang Xuanzang said, "This is the Buddha's business."
哦，佛有什么事啊？
Oh, what business does the Buddha have?
说佛呀，释迦牟尼佛虽然入涅盘，佛法还仍然在世间上呢。
Said the Buddha, although Shakyamuni Buddha entered Nirvana, the Buddha Dharma is still in the world.
需要人呢来帮他弘扬佛法。
Need people to help him propagate the Buddha Dharma.
你在这入定等着释迦，等当来下生弥勒尊佛，这还有很久的时间呢。
You are here entering Samadhi, waiting for the honored future Maitreya Buddha. This still has a very long time.
最低限度也要10几万年之后，你这10几万年，你什么事情你也不干，你这太没有意思喽。
Minimum will be over 100,000 years later. During this over 100,000 years, you don't do anything. Like this is too meaningless.
Yes, waving hands.
Master, is this the Pratyekya Buddha?
No, he's not. He's a bodhisattva. He's a great bodhisattva. That's why he is a great bodhisattva, and that's why he looked at Xuanzang and said, "You are too low level to talk to me." So I never took him seriously. You're wasting your life doing these things that you do. Want to look at Xuanzang, he says, "Nah." You're not worth my time.
这老先生说：“那我能干什么事啊？”他的自己能干什么事，他都不知道了，不知道了。
This old cultivator said, "Then what can I do? What himself can do, he doesn't even know." Doesn't know.
他说：“你呀，帮我去弘扬佛法，释迦牟尼佛这个法还在世间上呢。”
He, Tang Xuanzang said, "You can help me propagate the Buddha Dharma. Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma is still in the world."
现在没有什么人呢发愿弘扬佛法了。
Now, not many people make vows to propagate the Buddha Dharma anymore.
你去到这个大唐国啊，然后等我取经回来，你好帮助我弘扬佛法。
You go to this great Tang country, then wait for me to come back from getting the sutra. Then you can help me propagate the Buddha Dharma.
这个老修行啊，一想，本来不愿意去，但是想一想，时间太久了，哎，都是去做一做戏去。
This old cultivator thought about it, originally unwilling to go, but thought about this. The time is too long. I still go there to act a play.
Act in a play.
Act in a play.
Because to him, what he means by Chinese, of course I'm not him, but I would interpret it differently. I'd say act in a play. To him, he looks at Xuanzang and Xuanzang retinue are a bunch of youngsters who are just scurrying around. So to him, it's sort of like a play. So that's why he says, I might as well go in and join into this play here and join these people. To him, it's a very casual thing. For Xuanzang, it's like a life purpose. For Kuiji, is that your purpose, the scope of your purpose, is still pretty small to me. That's why it's just like a play on a theater, on a stage, to me only. But all right, I participate just because you ask. It's not so much as Xuanzang did a good job selling the thing, selling his work to him, because he can't. But Xuanzang did something that was very smart. He says, please help me, because you're not helping me, you're helping the Buddha. You screwed up, basically, with Shakyamuni Buddha, so you can make up for it. So for Master Hsuan to say, you can help me propagate Buddha Dharma, I don't know those are his exact words. If I were Kuiji, I said, help you? Wait a minute, let me think. You want me to help you? Really? How about you? Have you thought of you helping me? See the humor? No, you don't see the humor. It's a private joke. Go on.
好，继续。
啊，到那地方看看，逢场作戏。
逢场作戏。
Go to that place to have a look, to act according to the circumstance.
So Chinese. It's very colorful, but it's okay. We don't need to get into the Chinese thing too much. Yes, if you learn the Chinese, you appreciate the humor here, but it's okay. That's Master Hsuan's humor. Chinese humor. Go on.
他这一念想要做戏去，敢说那我怎么样去呀？
He's this one thought of wanting to act in a play, said, then how do I go?
唐玄奘说啊，你从这儿向东走，到那个大唐国。
Tang Xuanzang said, from here you go towards the east to the great Tang country.
你看那个房子啊，是有绿溜溜网，那个黄溜溜网，你就到那个家里去拖上去。
Be born not get birth. Get born.
You see that house with yellow lapis lazuli tile. You get born in that family.
We understand the Canadian English. It's okay. No sweat. Okay. The Canadians have their own style of English. Don't take it literally. Do not imitate it though. Are we having Korean translation? You are doing it? Okay, very good. Poor Sarah is getting a break for a change. Okay, continue, please.
等我回来呢，你还帮我弘扬佛法。
Wait for me to be back. You can help me propagate the Buddha Dharma.
这个老修行，大家眼睛也没有睁开呢，就这么说好，我去了。
This old cultivator probably haven't opened the eyes yet, then just said, "Okay, I go."
一边走路一边呢，好像没睡醒的觉似的，等到唐朝，这个大唐国家了。
He hasn't woken up from sleep while walking. He walked until he arrived in the Tang dynasty, this great Tang country.
这眼睛还睁不开，一看这个房子瓦这是绿色的，但是他没有睁开眼睛，他就以为是黄的。
His eyes still cannot open. Took a look at this. This house tile were green, but he didn't open the eyes. He thought they were yellow.
看着这么就是到这个有绿柳了瓦的这个家里去出世。出世，这不管了。
He saw as such, then arrived at the family with green lapis lazuli tiles to be born, was born there and didn't care.
So you see, based on the way the Master YongHua recounted the story, this Guiji here is really a goofball. He keeps on making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. And it makes me wonder, if you ask him to propagate the Mahayana, are you sure? That's funny.
唐玄奘到印度去取经，到那儿学佛法，听了很多法师讲经。
Tang Xuanzang went to India to get the sutra, to study the Buddha Dharma there, listened to many Dharma masters talking sutra.
听了很多法师，这个修禅定，到那儿，就一去了14年。
Listen to many Dharma masters who cultivate Chan Samadhi. Once went there, went for 14 years.
去了14年呢，就想他这有一个老同参到中国去了，他要回来找一找这个人了。
Went for 14 years. Then thought, he has an old cultivator, went to China. He wanted to go back to look for this person.
It's not Lao here, it doesn't mean old, it means my good friend. this good, my buddy co-cultivator, my friend co-cultivator. Lao in Chinese doesn't mean old in this case. It's familiar.
时候，在印度啊，就把这个一切的事情都办好了，想回走。
Thus, in India, he finished everything and started walking back.
想回走呢，他一去的时候和唐太宗有一个要会。
Walking back, when he first went to India, he had an appointment with Tang Taizong. Tang Taizong is the emperor of the Tang dynasty at the time.
The Yue here is, Yue Hui here is not, the meaning here is not appointment, meaning here is an understanding. Gee, my Chinese is improving, or her English is confusing.
唐太宗问他说：“国师，你什么时候回来呀？”他说：“现在你看这个树啊，是向西。”
Tang Taizong asked him, "National Master, when are you coming back?" He said, "Now you see this tree is towards the west."
这个树枝子啊，这个松树枝子向西歪的。
This tree's branches, this pine tree, its branches were crooked towards the west.
Curving towards the west, not crooked. Crooked refers to small dragons who are crooked. The branches are turning towards the west, curving towards the west.
你看的这个松树枝子什么时候向东歪了啊？那时候我要回来了。这说一个预言。
You see, when this pine tree's branches are curving towards the east, at that time I will be back. This was a prophecy.
啊，有这么一天，唐太宗一看这个宫殿前边这棵树，果然就向东。
There was one day, Tang Taizong took a look, saw this tree in front of the palace. Sure enough, the branches were curved towards the east.
So to me, it's kind of touching. It means that this emperor here checks the trees and the branches and the leaves for at least 10 years. Okay, he figured at least 2 years ago, 2 years back, so I still, so after 4 years, I better start looking. So he looked at it for a good 10 years. Check. And you see how eager this emperor was. Tang Taizong is so eager to await for the return of this Chinese monk. It's incredible. You see the sincerity of this emperor's heart. And he really, even with Xuanzang leaving the country, he lost a revered Dharma master he couldn't learn from. And then when he came back, he even supported Xuanzang's work, and he personally didn't get much out of it. No tax benefits, no, what else do we get now? No Secret Service security. It's absolutely of no benefit to the emperor to support this work at all. And that's what it takes to be an emperor, folks. In the future, when you become emperors again, many of you, you have to remember this. This is what makes a good emperor, not a bad emperor. Okay? You benefit your country, you benefit your people, you take a personal loss. What is that called again? Huh? What paramita is that? Huh? 布施, which is the giving paramita. This giving paramita you practice lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You can giving and giving and giving and giving without seeking self-benefit. Eventually you hit the jackpot like Taizong, Emperor Taizong, where his contribution to Buddhism is just out of this world. But that kind of person, he should become enlightened very quickly with that kind of blessings he has. You guys all want to become enlightened and don't want to put in the work to accrue blessings first. Go on.
The 枝啊杈都向东，完了。唐太宗就想起
The branches all curving towards the east. Tang Taizong then remembered.
玄奘法师走的时候说过，说他回来这个树枝子就会向东弯了。
Oh, Dharma Master Xuanzang said when he left, when he is back, this tree's branches will curve towards the east.
我们现在都所有的树枝都向东弯弯了。哦，这玄奘法师回来了，就带着文武百官。
Now that all the branches are curved towards the east, this Dharma Master Xuanzang is back.
It's coming back, and he left out the part where he's jumping up and down. It's very Chinese. Jumping, oh, he's coming back, he's coming back, he's coming back. Yeah, it's very, very happy. He's so happy. He's been waiting for years.
"去到西门去迎接这个国师。
He then brought all civil and military officials to the west gate to welcome this national master.
一迎接，果然就迎接，玄奘法师回来了。
Sure enough, all were able to welcome Dharma Master Xuanzang's return.
你看，那么回来了，玄奘法师第一句就问说。
You see, when he came back, the first sentence Dharma Master Xuanzang said was,
《 皇帝陛下，我恭喜你生一个儿子啊！
Emperor Highness, I congratulate you on having a son.
If you say that in English, the emperor will cut your head off. Usually you say, Your Highness. You think the Canadians would know more about these protocols than we, because they're like have a queen, you know, they used to have a queen, so it should be in the culture, but no, Emperor Highness. Hey, Emperor Highness. It's so American. Go on.
唐太宗说没有啊，我还是你走，我那个太子现在还就是一个太子，没有的啊。
Tang Taizong said, "No, I still have that same prince when you left. Now still just one prince, no more."
唐玄宗说不对呀、我给你派了一个儿子，怎么你会没有儿子啊？
Tang Xuanzang said, "That's not right. I sent a son for you. How come you don't have son?"
Well, you see, again, this is again the historians, some historians claim that the Buddha was not a prince, a crown prince, and he's not really a king at all. He's not royal blood. Think about it. You know, even a bodhisattva descended to be the son of a great Chinese emperor. And the Buddha cannot be a crown prince? Are you kidding me? These scholars really are so full of themselves. So casual. Or Xuanzang say, "I'm going to give my emperor a son," you know. So send that guy, that old guy, old fart, to the yellow lapis lazuli tiles of palace, and enter the one of the women's womb. There's a lot of details that Master YongHua left out that he didn't want to bring up. American joke. It's okay. Go on. I finish this part and then we end the night.
唐太宗说：“哦，大药国师，你是不是做梦啊？怎么净说梦话呢？”
Tang Taizong said, "Maybe National Master, are you dreaming? How come you just talk about dream words?"
I don't know why.
唐玄奘当时听皇帝说没有，于是乎他就一观察，做官来查一查。
At that time, Tang Xuanzang heard the emperor said no. Then he contemplated to check it out.
这么一做官，哦，这个老修行真是走错路了。
Once contemplating, "Oh, this old cultivator is so indeed went the wrong way."
No, took the wrong way.
Took
It's not
the wrong
went
way.
The wrong way.
他一观察知道这个老修行呢，因为眼睛没有睁开，
Once he contemplated, knew this old cultivator went the wrong way, took the wrong way because his eyes were not open.
就跑到尉迟恭的家里去托生了，做了尉迟恭的一个侄子。
Thus, the old cultivator had went to the great general Yu Chi Gong's family to be born and became one of Yu Chi Gong's nephews.
See, he went to the wrong palace, the wrong color palace. He also went to the wrong room as well. You don't find it funny, huh? The Buddhists are such screwballs. For us Americans, this is a matter of life and death. You don't make this kind of mistake, you know, wrong room. Go on.
那么他就向皇帝说这个尉迟恭这个侄子一定要出家，跟着我。
Then he, Tang Xuanzang, told the emperor, this nephew of this Yu Chi Gong must leave home.
妙佛法，他是怎么一回事？
Follow me to propagate the Buddha Dharma. He was such and such. 这尉迟恭无所谓的，他叫他侄子出家。
无所谓 has no saying over it, meaning he has no choice. He does care. He's his nephew. Wu so hui, meaning he can't say anything about it. Has no choice.
This Yu Chi Gong had no choice. He told his nephew to leave home.
他和他侄子一商量，他侄子不出家，不
Okay,
行
so we，
我
stop
不能
here.
出家。
It's still quite a bit of going on now in this minister's family affairs. All right. Any questions before we go back to meditation? Why are you laughing? Yes? No questions? Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.